The marriage certificate arrived before she did. Her signature forged, her future stolen, her freedom sold to the highest bidder. When Rhonda Roche landed in Seoul, she thought she was starting a new job. Instead, she found a wedding ring, a locked passport, and a husband who wouldn't touch her, but wouldn't let her leave. Chad York was cold, distant, dangerous, and he'd been obsessed with her for 6 months. She found the proof hidden in his servers. 847 photographs of her in Atlanta, detailed psychological profiles, security reports tracking her every movement, and 3 autopsy reports, men who'd gotten too close. When she tried to run at 3 a.m. with nothing but rage and a backpack, he appeared like a ghost in the hallway. "Where are you going?" "Away from you." "That's not an option. You can't keep me prisoner forever." His jaw clenched. His eyes burned with something that looked like fear. "If I can't have you, no one will." She thought it was possessiveness, obsession, control. Then the windows shattered. Bullets tore through the night. Assassins flooded the penthouse. And Rhonda realized he wasn't her captor. He was her only protection from something far worse. Before we continue, if you want to know how a forced marriage turned into the most dangerous obsession in the Korean underworld, and why a cybersecurity engineer became the target of a syndicate war, smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications, because this dark romance thriller will leave you breathless. Rhonda Roche's life ended on a Tuesday. Not literally, though sometimes, in the months that followed, she'd wish it had. It started with an email from HR. "Congratulations on your transfer to our Seoul office, effective immediately. Your relocation package and visa documents are attached. Flight departs Friday." Rhonda stared at her screen, coffee growing cold in her hand. Transfer? She'd never applied for a transfer. She'd never even expressed interest in international work. She called HR. They said it was part of a corporate restructuring. Her entire division had been acquired by Bay Industries, a Korean tech conglomerate. Her contract had been sold along with the assets. "You can't just sell people," Rhonda protested. "We sold your employment contract, Ms. Roche. It's all legal. You signed the mobility clause when you were hired." She hadn't read that clause. Nobody ever read those clauses. Within 72 hours, Rhonda was on a plane to Seoul, her entire life packed into 3 suitcases, her mother calling every hour asking what was happening, her friends texting condolences like she'd died. Bay Industries put her up in a luxury apartment, gave her a company car, assigned her a security detail for her protection as a foreign employee. The first red flag was when they confiscated her passport for visa processing. The second was when Director Han, a severe man with eyes like frozen steel, informed her she needed to sign some standard immigration documents at the district office. The third red flag was the document itself, a marriage certificate, with her signature already on it. "What the hell is this?" Rhonda demanded, staring at the Korean text with her name, Roche, Rhonda, in English letters beside a signature that looked exactly like hers but wasn't. "A formality," Director Han said smoothly. "Korean visa law requires sponsorship. Your employer has arranged a marriage of convenience to secure your work visa." "Without asking me?" "You agreed when you signed your relocation papers." "I never signed anything about marriage." "The document is legal and binding. Your visa is contingent on this marriage remaining valid." Rhonda's hands shook with rage. "Who the hell did you marry me to?" Director Han's expression didn't change. Mr. Chad York, CEO of Bay Industries. You'll meet him at the ceremony tomorrow. Ceremony? There's already a certificate. A formality for the photos. The media expects it. That's when Rhonda realized she wasn't in Korea for a job. She was a prisoner with benefits. The wedding was a cold, clinical affair, held in a private room at Bay Industries headquarters. No guests except corporate executives and photographers. No music, no flowers, no pretense of romance. Just signatures, photos, and a man who looked at her like she was a puzzle he'd already solved. Chad York was younger than she expected, maybe early 30s. Devastatingly handsome in that sharp, dangerous way that made smart women nervous. Expensive suit, perfect posture, eyes that revealed nothing. He stood when she entered, gave a slight bow. "Ms. Rochi." "Don't," Rhonda said coldly. "Don't pretend this is polite. You forged my signature. You bought my contract. You forced me into this." "Yes." The blunt admission stunned her. "That's it? Yes? No apology? No explanation? Would an apology change anything? It might make you less of a monster." Chad's lips curved slightly, not quite a smile. "I stopped pretending to be anything other than a monster years ago. It's more efficient." "Why me? Why go through all this trouble?" "Because you're valuable, and valuable things need protection." "I don't need your protection. I need my passport and a flight home." "Impossible. Your visa is tied to this marriage. If you leave, your mother loses her health care coverage, which we now sponsor. She also loses the private security we placed around her home in Atlanta." Rhonda's blood ran cold. "What did you just say?" "Your mother, Evelyn Rochi, age 58, diabetes, hypertension. She's safe, as long as you cooperate." Rhonda lunged at him. Security grabbed her before she made contact. She screamed, fought, called him every name she could think of. Chad watched impassively. Then he dismissed the guards with a wave. "You're angry. I understand. But your mother's safety is not a threat. It's a fact. There are people who would hurt her to get to you. I'm preventing that. By threatening her yourself, by making it clear she's under my protection. No one touches what belongs to me. I don't belong to you. Legally, you do. We're married. In Korea, that means something. This marriage is a lie. The certificate is real. The signatures are notarized. The photos are documented. Whether you believe it or not is irrelevant." He stepped closer, and Rhonda saw something flicker in his eyes. Something darker than simple business calculation. "Go home, Mrs. York. Get settled. We have much to discuss." "My name is Rochi." "Not anymore." The penthouse apartment was obscenely luxurious. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul. Marble everywhere. Art that probably cost more than Rhonda's student loans. A closet full of clothes in her exact size that she'd never ordered. And security cameras in every room except the bedroom and bathroom. She was a prisoner in a gilded cage. For the first week, Rhonda barely left her room. She video-called her mother, lying about how great everything was. She researched Korean marriage law, visa regulations, employee rights, looking for loopholes. There weren't any. Chad had constructed the perfect trap. She saw him only once that first week, at a corporate dinner she was required to attend as his wife. He played the role perfectly. Attentive but not affectionate, protective but not possessive. The ideal husband for the cameras. The moment they were alone in the car, the mask dropped. "You're not eating," he observed. "I'm not hungry." You need to maintain your health. Why? So I'm a prettier prisoner? So you don't make yourself sick with spite. Rhonda turned to face him. What do you want from me? Really? Because this can't just be about a work visa. Chad was quiet for a long moment. I want you safe. From what? From people who would use you, hurt you, kill you to get what they want. That makes no sense. I'm a cybersecurity engineer. I'm nobody important. You're brilliant. You've developed encryption protocols that multiple organizations want, including very dangerous organizations. So you kidnapped me first? I married you first. There's a difference. Not to me. They rode the rest of the way in silence. The second week, Rhonda started testing boundaries. She left the apartment without telling security. They followed anyway. She tried to book a flight home. Her credit cards were declined. She went to the U.S. Embassy. They told her that her marriage was legally binding, and she'd need to file for divorce through Korean courts, which could take years. Every door was closed. Every escape route blocked. She was well and truly trapped. The breaking point came on day 17. Rhonda was working late in the home office because apparently even prisoners had to maintain productivity when Chad entered unannounced. We need to talk. I'm busy. This is important. So is my work. Chad crossed the room, closed her laptop deliberately. Your mother's building was approached by 3 men today, claiming to be from a charity. They weren't. Rhonda's blood froze. Is she okay? Yes, my security intervened. But Rhonda, you need to understand something. The people who want you? They won't stop at legal barriers. They'll take your mother, torture her, use her to force you to comply with whatever they want. What people? What are you talking about? Chad sat across from her, and for the first time, she saw something like genuine concern in his eyes. The Xiao Syndicate, Chinese organized crime with operations across Asia and North America. They've been tracking talented engineers for a cyber warfare program. You were on their recruitment list. That's insane. Your company was going to sell your contract to them. I bought it first. The words hit like a physical blow. You bought me from criminals. I bought your contract from a company that was selling to criminals. And then I made sure no one else could touch you. By forcing me into marriage. By claiming you. In our world, marriage means protection. It means you're off limits. It means anyone who touches you answers to me. Rhonda felt sick. Your world? What world? Chad's smile was cold. You really haven't figured it out yet? Bay Industries is a front, Rhonda. I'm not just a CEO. I run one of the largest Korean syndicates on the peninsula. The room spun. You're a criminal? I prefer businessman with flexible ethics. But yes, if it makes you feel better to use labels, I'm married to a gangster. You're married to the man keeping you and your mother alive. Whether I'm a gangster or a saint is irrelevant. Rhonda stood abruptly. I want a divorce. No. You can't just say no. I can, and I am. The moment we divorce, your protection ends. The Xiao Syndicate will move on you within days. Then I'll get protection elsewhere. From who? The police? The government? They're all compromised. The U.S. Embassy? They can't protect you on foreign soil. There is no elsewhere, Rhonda. There's only me. She hated that he was right. Question for you. What's worse? Being trapped by a stranger or discovering he's been watching you for months? Keep watching, because what Rhonda uncovers next will change everything. Rhonda couldn't sleep. The revelation that Chad was a crime lord, that her entire life had been hijacked by the underworld, kept her awake, staring at the ceiling, mind racing. She needed information, real information. So she did what she did best. She hacked. Bay Industries had extensive security, but Rhonda was better. She created a false access point, spoofed her credentials, and dove into the company's private servers. What she found made her blood run cold. A folder labeled Rochi R. Surveillance. Inside, months of files. Photos of her leaving her Atlanta apartment. Time-stamped. Dated. Starting 6 months before her transfer. Videos of her at coffee shops, at the gym, walking to her car. Detailed reports on her daily routine, her friends, her mother's medical appointments, her favorite restaurants. Chad had been stalking her for months. There were psychological profiles, risk assessments, notes about her personality, her habits, her vulnerabilities. One note made her hands shake. Subject shows high resistance to authority, but strong protective instinct toward family. Mother is optimal leverage point. Subject is unlikely to comply without perceived threat to loved ones. Another note, dated 3 months before her forced relocation. Xiao Syndicate has identified subject. Moved up timeline. Acquisition must happen within 60 days. And then, the most damning document of all, a marriage contract. Drafted. Signed by Chad. With a space for her signature. Forged weeks before she ever arrived in Korea. This wasn't opportunistic. This wasn't reactive. This was a calculated long-term operation to claim her. Rhonda printed everything, hid the documents in her room, and waited for Chad to come home. He arrived after midnight, as usual, went straight to his study. Rhonda stormed in without knocking. "You've been watching me for months." Chad looked up from his desk, expression unreadable. "Yes. Before the transfer, before the marriage. You were stalking me. I was assessing you. That's what stalkers call it. I was determining if you were worth protecting. You had no right. I had every right." Chad stood, moving around the desk. "The moment the Xiao Syndicate identified you as a target, you became a variable in a very dangerous equation. I needed to know everything about you to determine the best way to keep you alive." "You mean the best way to trap me?" "Yes, those are the same thing." Rhonda threw the printed documents at him. They scattered across the floor, photos of her private life, her mother, her world. "This is sick. You're sick. I'm thorough. You're obsessed." Chad's jaw tightened. "Careful, Rhonda. Or what? You'll threaten my mother again, lock me up? You've already done everything you can do to control me. You have no idea what I'm capable of." "Then enlighten me. Tell me what other rights you've stolen, what other lies you've told." Chad picked up one of the photos, her laughing at a coffee shop, unaware she was being photographed. His thumb traced the image slowly. "I've killed for you." The words dropped like stones. "What?" "3 men. Xiao operatives who got too close to your mother's house. I handled them personally before they could make contact." You murdered people?" "I eliminated threats. To you. To her. To our arrangement." "There is no our. This is all you. Your obsession. Your control. My protection." His voice rose for the first time, controlled facade cracking. "Do you think I wanted this? Do you think I enjoy being the monster you have to depend on? Then let me go." "I can't." The admission hung between them, raw, honest, terrifying. Why not? Chad moved closer, and Rhonda saw something she'd never seen before in his eyes. Fear. Because the moment I do, you die. And I... He stopped, jaw working. I won't allow that. You don't get to decide. I already decided, months ago. The moment I saw you, saw what you were capable of, saw the danger you were in, I decided you were mine to protect. Mine to keep. Mine. I'm not yours. The marriage certificate says otherwise. That's just paper. Paper that keeps you alive. He grabbed her arms, not roughly, but desperately. Do you understand what the Xiao Syndicate does to people they want? They don't ask nicely. They don't offer contracts. They take. They break. They destroy everything you love until you comply. So you broke me first? Chad's grip loosened. Something flickered across his face. Guilt? Regret? I gave you a cage with gold bars instead of steel. I gave you safety instead of freedom. And I'm sorry it had to be that way. But I'm not sorry I did it. Rhonda jerked away from him. Stay away from me. Rhonda, I mean it. Don't touch me. Don't talk to me. Don't pretend this is anything other than what it is. Kidnapping with paperwork. She left before he could respond. But as she lay in bed that night, she couldn't stop thinking about the fear in his eyes. The fear that she might leave. The fear that she might die. The fear that felt disturbingly like caring. The next morning, Chad was gone before Rhonda woke. He left a note on the kitchen counter. Rules. 1. Don't leave the building without Director Han. 2. Don't contact anyone outside approved list. 3. Don't attempt to leave Korea. 4. Stay alive. C. Rhonda crumpled the note and threw it across the room. She was done being obedient. Over the next 3 weeks, Rhonda broke every rule. She left the building alone. Security followed, but she made their job hell, ducking into crowded markets, taking random subway routes, forcing them to chase her through Seoul like a game. She contacted her friend Dr. Sofia Martinez, another expat engineer working in South Korea. Sofia didn't know the full story, but she knew enough to understand Rhonda needed help. There are resources, Sofia told her over encrypted chat. Women's shelters, legal aid. You don't have to stay in an abusive marriage. It's more complicated than that. Abuse always is, but Rhonda, you have options. Did she? She researched divorce law obsessively, found that she could file in Korean courts, but the process would take months, and during that time her visa would be invalid. She'd be deported immediately, back to Atlanta, where her mother was, where the Xiao Syndicate knew to find them. Every escape route led back to the same conclusion. Chad was her only protection, and she hated him for it. They barely spoke during this time. Chad worked late, came home after she was in bed, left before she woke. He was avoiding her as much as she was avoiding him. The penthouse felt like a tomb. Until the night, everything changed. Rhonda was in the living room at 2 a.m., unable to sleep, when Chad came home. He looked exhausted, shirt untucked, tie loosened, blood on his knuckles. She sat up sharply. Are you hurt? It's not my blood. Oh. He poured whiskey, downed it in one swallow, poured another. Rough night? Rhonda asked, voice dripping sarcasm. You could say that. Let me guess. Someone didn't pay their protection money? Had to break some fingers? Chad turned. And the look in his eyes was colder than she'd ever seen. I killed 3 men tonight, Zhao operatives who got within 2 blocks of this building. They had your photo. They had extraction plans. They were coming for you." Rhonda's sarcasm died. "What? So no, Rhonda, it wasn't about protection money. It was about keeping you alive while you play your little rebellion games, pretending you're not in danger." "I didn't ask you to kill for me. You don't have to ask." He crossed the room in 3 strides, stopping inches from her. "Every day you're alive is because I'm willing to do what needs to be done. Every breath you take is because I've made it clear to every criminal organization in Asia that touching you means war. That's not protection. That's ownership. It's the same thing in my world. Then your world is sick." "Yes." The admission seemed to break something in him. "My world is sick, violent, corrupt, and I've been part of it since I was 16 years old. I know what I am, but at least I keep you breathing." They were breathing hard, inches apart, fury and something else crackling between them. "I hate you," Rhonda whispered. "Good, hate me, as long as you're alive to do it." And then he kissed her. Not gently, not sweetly. A kiss born from months of tension, frustration, fear, and something neither wanted to name. Rhonda should have pushed him away. Instead, she grabbed his shirt and pulled him closer. 3 months of rage and fear and unwanted attraction exploded between them. It was violent and desperate and wrong in every way. When they broke apart, both were shaking. "This doesn't change anything," Rhonda said, voice unsteady. "I know. I still hate you. I know. I'm still leaving the first chance I get." Chad's expression hardened. "Then I'll stop you, because if I can't have you, no one will." The words sent ice through her veins. "That's not love. That's possession. I never claimed it was love." He stepped back, composure returning like armor. "But it's what keeps you alive. So hate me, fight me, despise me, but don't mistake my obsession for weakness. I will burn this entire city before I let them take you." He left her standing there, lips still burning from his kiss, heart racing with fear and fury, and something she refused to acknowledge, because acknowledging it meant admitting she felt it too. Rhonda didn't sleep after that kiss. She paced her room, mind spinning, trying to make sense of feelings that had no right to exist. She shouldn't want him. Shouldn't feel anything except hatred for the man who'd stolen her freedom. But that kiss had revealed the truth. The line between hate and desire was thinner than she'd wanted to believe, and it terrified her. At dawn, she made a decision. She was going to find out exactly who Chad York was. Not the sanitized corporate version, the real man, the criminal, the monster. And then she'd figure out how to escape him. Over the next week, Rhonda dove deeper into Bay Industries' servers. She found financial records showing money laundering through dozens of shell companies, import-export businesses that were fronts for smuggling, real estate holdings used for criminal operations. Chad's syndicate was massive, bigger than she'd imagined. But she also found something unexpected: charitable donations, scholarships for underprivileged students, medical funding for low-income families, community programs. The monster had a conscience? Then she found the file labeled CO Threat Assessment. Inside, everything Chad had told her was true. The Xiao Syndicate had identified her 18 months ago, tracked her work on military-grade encryption, planned to kidnap her and force her to work on cyber warfare programs. They'd approached her former company with an offer to buy her contract. The company had agreed. Chad had made a counteroffer, 3 times higher. He'd bought her freedom. Then he'd imprisoned her to keep it. It was all true. The threats were real. Her mother's danger was real. Chad's protection, however suffocating, was the only thing standing between her and a fate worse than a forced marriage. She'd wanted him to be lying, wanted him to be purely evil so hating him would be simple. But nothing about Chad York was simple. That evening, Rhonda found him in his study. "I need to ask you something, and I need the truth." Chad looked up from his work. "Always." "Why me? Really, you could have warned me, given me protection without the marriage. There were other options." "No, there weren't." "Explain." Chad set down his pen, leaned back. "The Shao Syndicate doesn't respect warnings. They don't respect protection details. They respect claims. Marriage is a claim. In our world, it's a declaration. This person belongs to me, touch her and die. So it's just business. It started as business." "Started?" Something flickered in his eyes. "I researched you for 2 months before I made the decision to intervene. Watched you work. Watched you live. You were brilliant. Kind. You visited your mother every Sunday. You helped colleagues without being asked. You was what? Real. Everyone in my world wears masks, lies, manipulates. But you were just yourself. Genuinely, completely yourself. And He stopped, jaw tightening. "You what?" "I wanted that. Wanted you, not just to protect you, but to keep you. And I knew that made me exactly like my father." "Your father?" "He became obsessed with a woman once. Destroyed everything for her. His businesses, his relationships, his sanity. She left him, and he never recovered. I swore I'd never let anyone have that power over me. But I saw you, and I couldn't stop." The admission seemed to cost him. "I told myself it was strategy, protection, business. But the truth? I wanted you close where I could see you. Where I could know you were safe. Where you were mine." "That's not love, Chad. That's obsession." "I know, but it's the only thing I'm capable of." Rhonda should have been horrified. Should have run. Instead, she heard herself asking, "Do you regret it? Forcing this marriage?" "No, because you're alive. Even though I hate you, even then." They stared at each other across the desk. Two people trapped in a cage of Chad's making, neither able to escape the pull between them. "I don't know if I can ever forgive you," Rhonda said quietly. "I'm not asking for forgiveness. Just your survival." "What if I want more than survival?" "Like what?" "Freedom. Choice. A life that's mine." "I can't give you those things, not while the threat exists." "Then we're at an impasse." "Yeah." Rhonda turned to leave, then paused. "For what it's worth, I believe you wanted to protect me. I just wish you'd asked first." "If I'd asked, would you have said yes?" "No." "Then I made the right choice. For you, not for me." She left him sitting in the study, and neither of them knew that in 72 hours everything would shatter. Here's a question. What happens when a woman who refuses to be owned finally reaches her breaking point? Watch what happens next, because this explosion will change everything. It started over dinner, a rare occasion when they were both home and forced by circumstance to share a meal. The dining table felt like a battlefield. "I spoke with your mother today," Chad said casually, cutting his steak. Rhonda's fork froze halfway to her mouth. You what? She called the office. I assured her you were settling in well. You had no right. I'm your husband. I have every right. On paper, not in reality. The paper is the reality. You need to accept that. Something in Rhonda snapped. Accept it? Accept it? She stood abruptly, chair scraping back. You forged my signature. You stalked me for months. You bought my contract like I'm property. And now you're talking to my mother pretending to be some loving husband, instead of the criminal who kidnapped me. Chad set down his knife with deliberate precision. I saved you. You imprisoned me. From people who would do far worse. You are the worst thing. The words echoed in the silence. Chad stood slowly, and Rhonda saw danger flash in his eyes. Take that back. No, because it's true. You're not my protector. You're my jailer. And I'm done pretending this is anything other than what it is. A cage. If you truly believed that, you wouldn't have kissed me back. The reminder of that night made her face burn. That was a mistake. Was it? Or was it the first honest thing between us? You want honesty? Rhonda laughed bitterly. Fine. I feel suffocated, trapped. Every day in this apartment feels like drowning. You think you're keeping me safe, but you're killing me slowly. Dramatic. I'm serious. I can't breathe here. I can't think. I can't be myself when every decision is made for me. Then what do you want? I want out. No. You can't just say no, Ika. Yes, I can. Because the moment you leave, you're dead, and I won't allow that. You don't get to decide. I already decided. He was around the table in 2 strides, crowding her space. I decided months ago. I decided when I saw your name on that list. I decided when I bought your contract. I decided when I forged that marriage certificate. Every decision was made to keep you alive. Even if it destroys me, better destroyed than dead. That's not your choice to make. It's the only choice I know how to make. His voice cracked, and Rhonda saw something beneath the control, pure, undiluted fear. Don't you understand? I can't let you go. Not because I won't, because I can't. If something happened to you, what? What would happen? I'd burn the world, and myself with it. The confession hung between them, raw and terrifying. Chad, I know it's wrong. I know I'm wrong, but I can't stop. Can't undo what I've done. Can't let you walk into danger just because you want freedom. Then we're both prisoners. Yes. They stood inches apart, breathing hard, electricity crackling. I hate you, Rhonda whispered. I know. I hate that you did this. I know. I hate that part of me understands why. I know. Their lips met again, angry, desperate, full of all the words they couldn't say. This time, neither pretended it was just fury. It was fury and desire and fear and need all tangled together in something neither could name, but both felt consuming them. When they broke apart, Chad rested his forehead against hers. If I let you go, will you run? Yes. Even knowing it means death? Even then I can't let you go, because if I can't have you, no one will. The possessive declaration should have terrified her. Instead, it ignited something deeper. That's not love, Chad. No, it's something far more dangerous. Then, the windows exploded. Glass shattered everywhere. Rhonda screamed as Chad tackled her to the ground, covering her body with his. Gunfire erupted, deafening, close, deadly. Men in black tactical gear rappelled through the broken windows, moving with military precision. How many? Chad barked into his phone, which had appeared from nowhere. 8 operatives. Xiao Syndicate. They're here for her. Director Han's voice crackled back. Chad pulled a gun from under the table. When had that been there? And fired twice. 2 operatives dropped. "Stay down," he commanded Rhonda, then moved with lethal efficiency. What happened next would haunt Rhonda forever. Chad wasn't a businessman anymore. He was a killer. He moved through the chaos like death itself, precise, brutal, utterly ruthless. He disarmed one operative with a move so fast Rhonda barely saw it, then used the man's weapon to shoot 2 others. A fourth came at him with a knife. Chad broke his arm, then his neck. It took less than 2 minutes. When the shooting stopped, 7 bodies littered the penthouse. The 8th had retreated. Chad stood amid the carnage, breathing hard. Blood spattered across his face and clothes. He turned to Rhonda, and his eyes held something she'd never seen before. Pure animal terror. "Are you hurt?" She shook her head, unable to speak. He crossed to her in 3 strides, hands roaming her body, checking for injuries. "Tell me you're okay. Tell me—" "I'm okay," she managed. He crushed her against his chest, holding so tight she could barely breathe. "I told you. I told you they'd come. I told you. I know. I know. You were right." Director Han burst through the door with security. "Boss, we need to move her, now. This was a coordinated attack. They'll have backups. Take her to the safe house." "No!" Rhonda grabbed Chad's jacket. "I'm not leaving you. Rhonda, they came for me. If you stay and fight, you'll die protecting me. I won't let that happen. This isn't your choice. Neither was the marriage. But we're in this together now, whether we like it or not." Chad stared at her, and something shifted in his expression. "Together? Yes, so where you go, I go." He looked at Director Han. "Safe house, both of us. Full security protocol. Sir, that's an order." The safe house was a fortified apartment in Gangnam. Steel doors, bulletproof windows, enough security to withstand a siege. After Director Han left them with 6 guards outside, Chad and Rhonda stood in the living room, adrenaline still coursing. "You should have run," Chad said quietly. "Where? They found the penthouse. They'll find me anywhere." "That's why I can't let you go." Rhonda moved closer. "I know. I'll never let you go. I know that too. Does that terrify you?" "Yes, but less than the alternative." Chad cupped her face, thumbs stroking her cheeks. "I'm sorry. For all of it. For forcing this marriage, for taking your choice. For loving you in the only broken way I know how." Rhonda's breath caught. "Loving me? Is that so surprising? You never said, 'I bought you a marriage, killed for you, defied every rule I have about attachments.'" His voice dropped. "What else would you call it? Obsession. That too." They stood in the wreckage of what their relationship had been, and Rhonda saw the truth clearly for the first time. Chad York was dangerous, obsessive, controlling, everything she should run from. But he was also the only person who'd ever wanted her badly enough to burn the world for her. "If we do this," she said slowly, "if I stay, really stay, not as a prisoner but as your wife, things have to change. What do you want? Choice, real choice. You ask, I answer. No more decisions made for me, even if your answer puts you in danger. Even then, because danger with choice is better than safety in a cage." Chad considered this, war playing across his face. Finally, "Okay. Okay? I'll try. I'll fail sometimes, because control is all I know. But I'll try. That's all I'm asking." He pulled her close, and this kiss was different. Not angry or desperate, tender, promising. "I love you," he whispered against her lips. "In my broken, obsessive, completely fucked up way. I love you. I know, and God help me. I think I love you too." They fell together like gravity, inevitable, unstoppable, dangerous. They made love in the safe house while guards stood watch outside. It was desperate and raw, and everything their relationship had been. Fierce, honest, unbreakable. Afterward, Rhonda lay in Chad's arms, tracing scars on his chest. "Tell me about these. Later, right now, I just want to remember you're alive. I'm not going anywhere. Promise? Promise?" It was the first promise she'd made willingly. They fell asleep, tangled together as dawn broke over Seoul. Rhonda woke to find Chad already up, standing by the window in just his slacks, phone pressed to his ear. His expression was stone. When he hung up, Rhonda knew immediately. Bad news. "What happened?" "Li Wei, the Xiao Syndicate leader. He's issued a statement." "What kind of statement?" Chad turned, and Rhonda saw fury in his eyes. "He's put a $5 million bounty on you. Any syndicate that delivers you to him gets paid and gains favorable terms in Xiao territory." "What does that mean?" "It means every criminal organization in Asia is now hunting you. It means last night's attack was just the beginning." He crossed to her, gripped her shoulders. "It means war. What do we do?" "We finish this. I'm going to kill Li Wei. Destroy the Xiao Syndicate. Make it clear that touching you means death for everyone involved." "That's suicide." "It's the only way. As long as he lives, you're a target." "Chad, no. I will burn their entire world to the ground before I let them take you." His voice was steel. "This is what I do, Rhonda. This is who I am. And I'm going to show Li Wei exactly why no one touches what's mine." Rhonda saw the truth. He wasn't just protecting her. He was going to war for her. "Then I'm coming with you." "Absolutely not. You said things would change. You said I get a choice. This is me choosing. We fight together or not at all." They stared at each other. Two people who'd started as prisoner and jailer became something far more dangerous. "Together?" Chad asked. "Together. Because love in the criminal underworld wasn't about flowers and promises. It was about standing back to back against the world and refusing to fall." The plan was simple. Strike first. Chad's organization mobilized overnight. Every asset, every connection, every favor owed. Rhonda used her skills to hack Xiao Syndicate's communications, feeding Chad real-time intelligence on their operations. "They have a shipment coming into Busan port tonight," she reported. "Weapons. If we intercept it, we cripple their offensive capability." Chad was already on the phone. "Director Han, mobilize Team 3. We're hitting Busan." Over the next 72 hours, Chad's organization and the Xiao Syndicate engaged in open warfare. Shipments intercepted. Safe houses raided. Operatives eliminated. It was brutal, bloody, ruthless. And through it all, Rhonda stayed by Chad's side, not in the field, but in the command center, providing intelligence that turned the tide multiple times. "They're moving Li Wei to a secondary location," she called out, tracking encrypted communications. "Some kind of bunker outside the city." "Can you get coordinates?" "Give me 10 minutes." She got them in 7. That's my girl, Chad murmured, kissing her temple before heading out. My girl, not my prisoner, not my wife by force. His girl, his partner, his choice, just as he was hers. The assault on Li Wei's bunker happened at dawn. Chad led a team of 20, his best people. The firefight was intense, but they had surprise on their side. Li Wei was captured alive, brought to a neutral location, a warehouse controlled by neither syndicate. Chad entered alone. Rhonda waited outside with Director Han, listening through the comms. "You should have just given her to me," Li Wei said, voice crackling through. "Would have saved a lot of bloodshed. She's not property to be given. Everything's property in our world. Not her, never her. You destroyed half my organization over one woman. That's weakness, York. No, that's love. And the difference is, I'm willing to die for mine. You only kill for yours." There was a long pause. Then a single gunshot. Rhonda flinched. "Boss?" Director Han spoke into the comms. "It's done," Chad's voice came back. "Li Wei is dead. Xiao's syndicate is headless. Call the other leaders. Anyone who wants their territory can negotiate with me." Rhonda exhaled the breath she'd been holding. It was over. 2 months later, the Xiao syndicate had fractured. Various organizations absorbed their territory through negotiations Chad brokered, making him one of the most powerful brokers in the Asian underworld. The bounty on Rhonda was officially revoked. Her mother's security remained, but became less invasive. And the forged marriage? They refiled. Legitimately this time. On the steps of Seoul City Hall, with Rhonda's mother flown in from Atlanta, they signed new papers, freely, willingly, together. "Do you, Rhonda Rochi, take Chad York?" "I do." "And do you, Chad York, take Rhonda Rochi?" "I do." This time, when they kissed, it wasn't desperate or violent. It was promise. Choice, love. The most dangerous kind. That evening, back at their penthouse, repaired, secured, home, they stood on the balcony overlooking Seoul. "Do you regret it?" Rhonda asked. "The war, the violence, everything you did?" "No. I'd do it again. 1,000 times." Chad pulled her close. "But I am sorry it took violence to show you the truth." "What truth?" "That I'd burn the world for you, but I'd also rebuild it, if you asked." Rhonda turned in his arms, meeting his eyes. "I love you. Your darkness, your obsession, your terrible, broken way of caring. All of it. Even knowing who I am? Especially knowing who you are." They kissed as the sun set over Seoul. Two people who'd found love in the most unlikely, dangerous, impossible way. Because sometimes love isn't gentle. Sometimes it's violent and possessive and all-consuming. And sometimes that's exactly what survival looks like. 1 year later, Rhonda stood in Bay Industries' cybersecurity division, now officially hers to run. Chad had made good on his promise. Choice. She chose to work. Chose to build legitimate security systems. Chose to use her skills for protection rather than warfare. But she also chose him. Every day. Their marriage wasn't conventional. How could it be with a husband who ran a criminal empire? But it was real. Built on brutal honesty, fierce loyalty, and a love that had survived everything thrown at it. "Mrs. York?" An assistant poked her head in. "Your husband is here." Rhonda smiled. "Send him in." Chad entered, still in his business suit, looking every inch the respectable CEO. But Rhonda saw past the mask to the dangerous man underneath, the one who'd killed for her, fought for her, nearly destroyed himself for her. "Ready for dinner?" he asked. "Always." He kissed her, gentle, familiar. "Home." "I love you," he murmured. "I know, and if you ever forget, I'll remind you." "How?" "By staying. Every single day. Because that's my choice." And for Chad York, the man who'd forced a marriage to save a life, hearing her choose him willingly was sweeter than any victory. Because in the end, love wasn't about possession. It was about two people choosing each other, even when the world burned around them, especially then. So that's how 5 words, "If I can't have you, no one will," became a declaration of war and a vow of love. Rhonda Roche was forced into a marriage she never wanted. Chad York was obsessed with a woman who hated him. What began as imprisonment became partnership. What began as control became choice. Their story proves that love isn't always gentle. Sometimes it's fierce, possessive, and born from darkness. But that doesn't make it less real. What would you do if you discovered your forced marriage was actually a protection? Would you run or stay? Let me know in the comments. And if you loved this dark romance thriller about forced marriage, criminal obsession, and choosing love in the most dangerous way possible, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell because I have more intense stories coming your way. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the cage is the only thing keeping you safe. The question is, can you love your captor without losing yourself?